Hi, everyone. Kate Byers, founder of Corporate Women Unleashed. I'm super excited. We've got an incredible client here, Alida. She is one of the few women in a senior management in a global company, the automotive industry. So if that sets the tone for what we're about to hear, I'm super excited for all of us. Alida, thank you so much for coming here, sharing your story, and really sharing some words of encouragement to other top women out there who may be in the same situation. Thank you.
My pleasure. And yes, I'm excited to help other women and to help share my story in any way possible, for sure. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I love it. Thank you so much. Yeah, well, let's just dive in. Two girls talking, right? So tell me where are you at today? Like, how would you describe, I don't know, life it is? Like, what are the results you feel that you've gotten after working with Corporate Women Unleashed? And I don't know, where are you at today?
Yeah.
What's the good news?
I am back in the executive world in the automotive industry, and I am very excited about the change despite the difficult times that we're all in. And I am especially excited about that because I had left that area about a year ago. I know we'll probably get to that a little bit later, but it's something I feel more strongly about and prepared to continue the journey, the path that I was on, career path that I was on, and just having my piece of the pie and being more conscious about the decisions that I'm taking to make sure it is a good step for me, for my family, and for the career at the same time, and for the company that I'm working for, of course.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. That's right. Okay. So before you came to us, you had taken a step away. So why don't you tell us about that? Like, where were you at? And that will help us like better understand where you're at now.
So where I was at, it's actually a two-way story. One is the location itself. My family and I, we were in North America at the time, and I was in an executive position leading a team in North America and having global responsibility with a customer base. And it was something that I really enjoyed doing, but I mentioned I have a family, and I just felt like I couldn't bridge the gap anymore in a healthy way for me or the family to enjoy one or the other. And at that time, then I decided family comes first, and the money that comes along with that kind of position, got enough saved, and we'll figure it out. And the decision was to move back to Germany, where I'm actually from, and just really slowing down the pace of life that we had up until that time, and being a mom first. I'm saying that consciously because I know it may come across in the wrong way. I'm still a mom first now, but I just take the priorities in a way that I'm more conscious in the position or in the time that I spent with my children, whereas before it was sometimes more of a burden because I just didn't have the patience that I do now, for example.
Oh yes, I think we can all relate to that. Thank you. Got it. So you took a step back to purposely be with your children and just really for the health of yourself and your family. What brought you move back to Germany? What brought you back into? Because, and I want to get into this because it's, you're in a very unique industry, and having a senior role certainly, I think puts some added maybe focus or pressure. I'm not sure if you feel that, but what brought you back in? Was it just lifestyle? Was it time to go like get back to work? The sabbatical's over?
It was, you're actually hitting on a couple of keywords. The sabbatical was for sure conscious, and the lifestyle change also conscious. At the same time, I highly underestimated what that change would do to me, to my happiness, to my level of happiness, to feeling fulfilled, useful, even in an odd way, and just not being as balanced or happy as I thought I would be by eliminating what I thought was taking away from that wholeness that I was seeking so much. And quite the opposite was true, and I was missing having that challenge, having that nutrition for my brain, even in an odd way. And it didn't. I fell apart more than I thought I would come together by taking that decision, and it was a very, very challenging time for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't it funny? Because, obviously my story is similar and I did the same thing. You think, oh, this is going to be so wonderful. And just want to have all the pressure and all the people and everyone who needs something from you. And then you do that and go, okay, wait a minute.
Exactly. It just didn't happen like that at all. It looks great on paper, but the reality was quite different, for sure.
Yeah. Got it. Okay. So now what's different now? How are you then? Because you're back in, senior management role, you're back in the automotive industry. What's different now? In other words, what have you learned, or what is it, the takeaway that's helping you transition back into this and not lose sight of those priorities?
There are several mini steps, of course, that I went through with the program CWU, but it was being aware of my own needs. That was probably the most critical step for me transition to understand how I can be a better person, a better version of myself, in order to then be part consciously of the pieces of the life that I was seeking so much to have embetterment for. So when it comes to my job, the career now, the decision was, it wasn't financial. In fact, of course, it's a nice benefit, but I knew I would enjoy working in that environment, because it's something that brings me joy, like I said, but for the reasons that I identified from a needs perspective for what makes me happy, but at the same time for the family that I have, how does that benefit us in the long run, lifestyle, quality of life, etc. And of course, being exposed in our case also to the different cultures and languages, etc. So that was definitely one step. At the same time, I'm not just happy working, or not just being happy a mom, and also saying, okay, health-wise, quality of life-wise, connecting with my husband, how can I change? What is it that I have to change? What is it that I want to change? And becoming a better version of myself in that regard. So health-wise, taking more time to exercise in this particular instance, and making time consciously to spend time with my husband away from the kids, or once they're in bed, and reconnecting in a meaningful way, in a more meaningful way than maybe before we were just going through the motions because we had, I don't know, an hour without doing something. So there's just much more purpose behind the decisions that I've made to put my life together in a more meaningful way, really.
Isn't that incredible? You know what? I don't know about you, Alida, but for me, it was so freeing to recognize that I had that power within me to make those choices differently, because I think so often we think, which you made that choice and I made that choice. If I remove the company, or if my work is better, then I'll have a better life. But it's really the decisions you're making within this life that gives you the better life. And it was like, once that light bulb went on for me, I was like, oh, well, I do have the key to the gilded cage. It's me.
For sure. Absolutely. Yeah. No, it was really, you said it, very liberating, and certain things you grow into as you mature, of course, but it takes a consciousness and how to access that consciousness, right? That might already be there, and having the tools. I think the tools was key for me to be able to understand, dissect, and implement or execute differently, maybe what I had before and knew, but I didn't have them. The magic tools, I'm gonna call them that, but I didn't have the magic tools and how to make them work for me. So that's probably the biggest difference.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, it's a great framework. Okay, so what else did you try before you found us? You took the sabbatical. Before you took that year off, were you trying other things to create, more priority in your private life?
I took, of course, advice from friends, from family, trying to find mentors in a way that I would look up to them, or finding resourcefulness in their matters of life. But it wasn't something that worked for me. So trying to find things online, more on the coaching, mentoring side, not so much on the, let's say, the psychology side of things per se. And nothing really was there for me, or was an active connector. Of course, you can read up on information and think, oh, well, maybe that makes sense, that could work. But just having that impact from really understanding what the information is, and I really felt like this works, this makes sense. So no, before that I didn't find anything that was really useful in my case.
Got it. Yeah, no, and that comes so often. What happened right away? What were some of the first results because you were not yet stepping back, when you began working with this, you had not yet stepped back into the role you have now.
Correct.
So any sort of aha moments that you had as you were sort of going through this?
Some of the aha moments were definitely the awareness, of how I am, why I am, and how to not fight it so much, but how to embrace it and how to make change for the better. And the result of that, or the immediate result of that, was really more patience, even better ability to listen to my children, to my husband, and at the same time not worrying so much about my actions and how other people may perceive it, but having a greater sense of confidence, greater sense of self-awareness even, and embracing that because it's unique to me. And that is what attracts other people to my personality also. So taking it as a positive, as opposed to what's wrong with me, or how am I different, or why, and just not questioning my own person as much, if you will. So yeah, definitely, to answer the question shortly, or in a short way, more patience, more bliss.
Oh, bliss.
Like this, the hands.
Bliss. Well, it takes, when you learn this, it takes the focus off of you, because now we're not, worried about keeping ourselves at the table. Or like you said, we're not worried about what other people are thinking. I mean, you logically know it doesn't matter what other people think, but then there's that internal sense that continues to fester or worry or try to correct or second guess. And being able to let go of that and just exist with ease in who you are as an executive woman.
Yeah.
That is bliss. So what are you, Alida? You're back on the road. You're traveling some, like you're not just at, coming home every day at 4:00. You've still got a big job. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's it is a change. It's a transition right now, but somebody very intelligent and smart told me, don't take it as a negative. Look at the positive that comes out of that as well. And it was, I hear you still in the back of my head sometimes. I'm thinking, well, yeah, that's true. There are some positives, and just being creative with the ability to still connect with my children, and I'm still able to read to my daughters and have a portion of mealtime, let's say, even though I'm not physically present with them all the time. And it's an acceptable way to them or for them as well. And it's not all bad. And the travel itself, sometimes they say absence makes the heart grow fonder, and it does help even my husband and I to connect on a different level again. So it hasn't been in a negative way. Of course, it's not something that sustainably you want to continue forever, but again, it's a transition. So I'm embracing it rather than looking for the unpleasant sides of it.
That's so great. I think I just want to stack on that for women, because I think as women, we have this guilt of oh, we're just supposed to work 9 to 5. And if you're not working 9 to 5, you're a bad mom or whatever. And it's not the case, when you have this capacity to work in a career, and it does require travel, it requires you to be away from your family. The whole point is that you can still stay connected. You can still be a great mom. You can still be a great wife. You can still take care of your health. It doesn't have to negate having a private life that's really rich and abundant.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad you're finding that sweet spot as you step back into this. Good. Well, what else? Any big takeaways, I guess, or what's next? I always love to leave, what would you tell Alida? There's an Alida out there listening who, a year ago, what would you tell her? What advice would you have for someone else, I guess?
the Alida that's out there, or even myself a year ago, I would tell myself, don't wait any longer. Don't try to figure it out on your own any longer. Rather, listen to the videos or to the messages that you have out there, because I did that for about a year before I actually decided to take that call and figure out if it makes sense for me to join or not. And I wish I'd taken that call, made that decision earlier for my own self. So to the other Alidas or Kates that are out there, and they are out there, don't wait any longer, because if you are a person that somehow knows there's nothing wrong with enjoying work or even wanting a career as a woman or as a mom, or being in a relationship, it shouldn't prevent you from having that full life that we all know exists in some version. But the key is get the tools through your program to understand how you can access, your inner best version in order to have a piece of it all, and making it work for you, and embracing that and being happy. And I think the happiness is really what I'm happy about for myself. But people almost look at me, especially from on a professional side. Oh, Alida, it's so great you're back. And well, what's wrong with you? You're so happy. And I'm thinking, well, I have no reasons to complain. Of course, work is going to be challenging. That's why it's work at the end of the day. If there weren't any problems, then there wouldn't be that position, right? But look at it with a half glass full rather than a half glass empty. So that's my advice to all the ones that are listening, that care to make a change in their lives, and don't want to question whether it's the right or wrong decision. For sure, it is the right decision to have a little bit of all, and being happy about it.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Heck yeah. Thank you, Alida. That is such a strong message for every woman out there. This trade-off that we keep being faced with, or thinking that we have to be faced with. Flip-flop, flip-flop. You can have this or that. Yeah. Great personal life, great career. Great personal life, great career. I think you're a perfect example. You can have a great career. You're in an industry that is, not rife with women. You're obviously blazing trails at a very high level, which is good for you. We need you there. You know what I'm saying? I'm so glad that you came back from sabbatical, but at the same time, you've got some kiddos who need you, and a husband who needs you too, and that you want to be with. So I think you're finding that holistic approach to your life, which is really, really beautiful. I'm so happy for you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you. No, thank you to you and your team. I couldn't have done it without you. I mean, it sounds cliche, but that's very true. It's of course, I had to put in the work, but you guys managed to get the best out of me, and to challenge me. I'm very glad I took that step.
Oh, I am too. It's been fabulous. I love getting to know you. Let's stay in touch, and go enjoy your wonderful, wonderful rest of your evening with your kiddos. And
thank you.
Chapter in your career. It's going to be exciting. So appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for really, truly sharing and helping inspire another woman. Really appreciate you.
My pleasure. Thank you. I appreciate it.